With parts of Western Canada facing record-breaking cold, many are questioning the legitimacy of climate change. Many have even taken to Twitter to voice their skepticism. Canadian Hockey Hall of Famer Terry Jones wrote, quote, "It's minus 41 degrees in Edmonton this morning. Can we get Greta back to explain this global warming thing again?" So why do we still see such cold days, even as scientists argue the world is warming? Here now to explain is senior climatologist at Environment Canada, Dave Phillips. Dave, if anyone can explain this to the layperson, it is you. So let's talk about this. Individual weather events are one thing, but just like the name suggests, climate change refers to climate. So what is the difference between weather and climate?
Well, Ben, you're absolutely right. I mean, we shouldn't make assumptions about climate change globally when things are happening locally. And I know people do. I mean, right now you're hearing people say, well, bring on global warming. What happened to it? Did it pause, reverse? I mean, even the President of the United States makes comments like that. So I think it's really a matter of different definition. When we look out the window, we don't see climate, we see weather. I mean, weather happens over hours and days, maybe a week at most, but climate is about something that changes, maybe more slow motion kind of change over a period of years, decades, or even centuries. And so I think that certainly, if we're going to warm up by 3 or 4 degrees this particular century in Canada, depending upon the emissions, doesn't mean that winter's going to be canceled. I think what happens, Ben, is this cold kind of bouts, they in the future could be as severe, but they just won't be as common. So if this kind of cold we're seeing happens once every 10 years, well, maybe in the future it'll be, say, once every 50 or 60 years.
All right, Dave, we're going to show a map that displays global temperature data for the first half of 2019. And parts of Canada and the U.S. saw relatively normal, even cold temperatures. The rest of the world largely saw climbs. But you say climate change can contribute to some of the recent cold weather we've seen. And is it fair to say that climate change also includes these extreme weather events, like the extreme cold and the extreme warm and the typhoons and the tornadoes and all of this stuff? There's just more of it, and we've dialed it up.
Exactly, Ben. It's not that we're seeing any new weather. It's not as if we're seeing, tornadoes in Toronto in December and sandstorms in Vancouver in October. It's just the fact that the statistics of weather have changed. Things are becoming more frequent, more extreme, more out of season, out of place. I mean, and you're right. I mean, what we're seeing are the extremes of weather seem to be more frequent, and also the variability, the wild swings. I saw this year where farmers said to me on the prairies, they could have had drought insurance and flood insurance in the same growing season, not something that you saw in the past. And the other thing, I think you raised a good point, is the fact that it's sort of almost ironic in a way, almost counterintuitive, that sometimes this kind of climate change, the warming conditions, can actually produce these bouts of cold weather to the south. We see that's because the general circulation pattern changes. That jet stream has a different shape to it, and so it's able to bring this kind of where ice is disappearing in the north, it's able to bring this kind of cold weather down to the south and freeze people. And people thought, well, gee, this didn't used to occur before. So I think it seems almost crazy, the fact that, hey, we're living in a warmer world, but you can get these bouts of extreme cold happening ever so often.
I just want to point out that Dave Phillips said I made a good point about climate change. That's never going to happen again. Sir, thank you so much for being here, and hopefully that puts an end to this conversation. But you're always welcome to come back on the show. Thanks again.
Thank you, Ben, so much.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.